Okay, guys, welcome. We are live. We are recording. Welcome to our executive leadership training number 2. Hopefully you guys had a we're doing these bi-weekly so that there's time to actually get into action and use the material that we are going to be training about on these calls. By show of hands, how everybody had a good 2 weeks? Yes? Yes, thumbs up. Yay. Okay. Good. So we're really, getting into momentum with the team. We've got the open enrollment, a free enrollment right now till Sunday this week. So that's 2 weeks in a row they've offered it, which is really fabulous. And today we're going to be talking about, last week we went over, and if you guys missed the trainings, I understand, you're not required to be live on everyone. I would like you to be, because then you can ask questions and be interactive, but I understand that we're all busy and we all have different responsibilities. But please try to then listen to the recordings. I will always post the links. That way people aren't messaging me like, what did I miss? I can't be answering those questions because that's why we're recording them. So just make it a priority and go in there and watch the recordings, okay? That way we can minimize some of those questions that are coming up for people. Okay, couple housekeeping tips really quick. The back office has been having some issues the last 48 hours. I know many of you were aware of that, enrolling people. There was some stuff going on. Isagenix is really great about handling things. Obviously, it's business, guys. There's going to be stuff that comes up. It's technology. Sometimes things aren't going to work properly, even in our amazing company, but they're really great about handling it. So just as leaders, just make sure, you always want to make sure your client and your person has the best experience. So you stay calm when there's an issue. This is their first experience in Isagenix. So we want it to be positive. If you get all freaked out and you get stressed and you make it a big deal, it's going to be a big deal for them, whatever the situation is. So just, stay calm. Know that customer service will always handle it. We will always get an answer. It might take a little bit of time, but we want to be really calm and patient. Leadership. I know Becca had some stuff. A girl was charged twice because the website was not going through and she didn't know what already went through. So the order was processed twice, but the customer service already handled it. So just if that ever comes up for you, just take a step back, take a deep breath, know that you have an amazing corporate leadership staff that's there working full time to handle these things. So one of the beautiful things about network marketing, we're in business for ourselves, but there's all these other parts of Isagenix that we don't get to see, right? There's this whole back end of full-time employees that work night and day to make sure that we're running smoothly in the field. So just be conscious of that and know that corporate is your business partner, and feel empowered to reach out to corporate. If you guys need to get a hold of corporate quickly, you can always call me or Kathy Lamar. We have a VIP line that goes, they're really great. You don't wait on hold. They go right to VIP and they handle your stuff faster than even regular customer service, which is already really fast and really great. So if you need access to the VIP line, I don't like to use it for everything. You know what I mean? So if it's a big issue, then we'll jump on the phone with VIP, but having someone change their credit card information, I'm not going to call into VIP for that. That can be handled, or the person can figure out how to do that. Okay. So just know that those tools are there, and you can utilize them, but I want you guys to feel comfortable calling into corporate, because they are your business partners. Just like I'm your business partner, we're all, connected. You are also connected into corporate. So utilize them. If you have an issue, if you're, upset about something, let them know. They're very open and receptive. And this has really never happened, but if you ever get a new customer service person that isn't very knowledgeable, sometimes it's people's first day, second day, they're getting trained too. You can always ask for a supervisor, and they are always really fabulous. I've never had a bad experience with a supervisor or even a customer service rep ever. I've always had really positive experiences. So just wanted to say that. I know there's been some stuff with the back office. I'm sure they're going to work it out. People's BV I was getting so many messages, and I was like, you guys, my back office is messed up too. So as leaders, we just want to stay calm, because if we get all freaked out, guess what happens? Everyone in your team is going to be buzzing and oh my gosh, and especially if someone's brand new, we just want to be calm about it. Okay. Beck, was there anything else with that we wanted to be aware of with the enrollment? Did that kind of cover all the stuff?
I think that was, I think you did a good job. Yeah, okay. That's about it.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Thank you. So today we're going to be talking about, last week we really went over the map to crystal, or 2 weeks ago we went over the map to crystal making your list, really getting into that action, contacting people, all of those things. Today, we're going to talk about utilizing systems and how do you start to utilize systems in your business to create the momentum that you want. And also, one of my favorite words is sweat equity. The equity that we put into. So here's what I want you guys to think about right now. What are you willing to give up in your life currently to get what you want out of your business? What are you willing to give up to get the goals and the dreams that you have in your mind, that you've put now on your vision board, that you're writing down in your journals when we get on these calls? What are you willing to sacrifice? Because in anything in life, whether we're shooting for a health goal or a financial goal or a personal goal, spiritual goal, you have to make some sort of sacrifice. And often what I see is people don't want to do that. They want their prize. They want to eat have their cake and eat it too, but they're not willing to put in the work. And then they wonder why they're not getting the results that they want. So you have to look at your life and be brutally honest. Like, no one else is looking at it. No one else is judging you. This is just a conversation you're going to have with yourself. And you need to decide what you're going to give up. So maybe it's TV. Maybe you're watching an hour of Bachelor to 2 hours of Bachelorette every night. I don't know. I haven't watched that show in 15 years. I don't watch TV because it's a waste of my time. So that's a personal choice. When I first got into Isogenics, Jay Bennett said to me, and he says this a lot on stage, but I love Jay. He's amazing. And he's made, I don't even know, probably $20 million in this industry. So when he talks, I listen. And he said, there's no BV in TV. There's no BV in TV. So if you're wasting, an hour a night, how many hours of that is in a week, in a month, that you're not putting into your business, that you're not growing you? Now, I'm not saying you have to be on 24/7, working. That's not what this is about. But if you're strapped for time, if you're running a family, if you're working another job and you're doing Isogenics in the pockets of your life, which I think most of us do, you have to borrow time from somewhere else to build this business. You have to borrow time. So what are you willing to give up? Maybe it's gossiping on the phone with a girlfriend, or going shopping and putting stuff on a credit card when you can't really afford it because you're bored and you don't know what to do in your business that day. So you just go out and get in your car and go spend money. Like, I don't know what it is, but you need to address whatever it is that you're willing to give up so that you can get into action in this business. Because this business won't just happen for you. You have to take massive, massive action for a long period of time to be successful. And that's true for anything. There's no such thing as an overnight success. There's no such thing as a quick fix. Those things they don't work, or they're not real, or it's a facade that we've been told by society that, it's the lottery microwave mentality. You cannot have that in network marketing. And you cannot have that in life if you want to accomplish your goals. Okay. So that's the first thing. What are you willing to give up to get what you want? So write it down. I mean, I'm sure everybody can, maybe it's scrolling through Facebook. When, Facebook is an amazing tool. Social media is an amazing tool, but it is a time warp, and it is also a rabbit hole. And you can spend all day on Facebook doing nothing. Trust me, I get tagged, and I get hundreds of tags a day. Literally, people tag me in all sorts of stuff. Most of the things, 99% of the things, I don't respond to. Why? Because it's a waste of my time. It's a way. All of a sudden, I'm going to look at this thing, and then I'm watching a video, and then I see someone else's comment, and then I click on a link, and all of a sudden I'm on another website, and then I'm shopping for a t-shirt, and then 3 hours went by, and I got nothing, right? I mean, you guys know what I'm talking about. Social media is fabulous, but you have to learn how to use it properly for your business. Okay. So I think for most people right now, it's probably like social media is over TV. Like, I think most people are on social media more so than they watch TV. But if you watch a lot of TV, I'm going to be really, really honest with you. You got to rein that in. You got to spend that time reading your books, listening to podcasts. Income producing activities need to be your number one focus in business, not just getting on leadership trainings. We talked about this on the Monday Morning Mindset call. Don't just be a personal growth junkie. You get into massive action with the things that you're learning. Okay. So that's really the first thing. The second thing is, what are your daily methods of operation? How are you functioning in your business? On the last session, we talked about stepping into that leadership role, being the CEO of your own company. How would you act when you are paid as executive? How would you show up in your daily process? So what is your daily method of operations? So I want to talk to you guys a little bit about systems. I'm going to share my systems. Now, my systems might not be your systems. Here's the really cool thing about Isagenix. There's a lot of leaders that you can model, and you can pick and choose and make your own brand that works for you. So I am not telling you that this is the only way. There's lots of ways. This is what I've found over the years through trial and error, through falling on my face and getting up again, through, having systems not work and figuring out what did work. You're going to have to go through that process too. Okay. So I like whiteboards. Whiteboards are my friend. So I got this at Target. It was $8. And I thought it was pretty because it has this little gold thing on it. You don't have to get a fancy one. You can get a plain whiteboard for $4 instead of $8. It doesn't really have to be expensive. Okay. But I was having a hard time. I had so many leads coming in, and I knew I wasn't handling my leads properly. And guess what will happen if you don't handle your leads properly? Where will they go? They will disappear back into the universe, because then you're not ready to receive it, right? So you have to be set up. So I was starting to feel a little bit overwhelmed in my life. I was having too many Facebook messages, it was just too much. So I revamped what I was doing. So now I have this board, and I have Facebook leads, Instagram leads, and I have follow-up. So once I've followed up with the people on here, and this was, just so you guys know, this was from one post. Okay. I got these from one post. So don't underestimate the power of your posting. You might not get all of those in one time, but people feed in. They keep watching you. I did a paid boost post. I spent $20. I boosted my post on my business page. You can do it on your personal page too. I spent $20. And these were the leads that I got from it. Is that worth $20? 100%. Absolutely. Now, I don't know what these people are going to do. I'm not really worried about it, but I'm contacting them. So once I contact them, they're going to go over to the follow-up thing. So if I add them to the group, private message them, set an appointment, they go over here, because then now they're in the follow-up section. If their name's not over here, I can quickly glance and go, oh shoot, I forgot to send, Katie M. I forgot to respond to her, but I have it. The minute I talk to someone, now it goes on this board. Okay. So that's the system that I'm using right now. I also am a big sticky note person. I like sticky notes. So here's what I do throughout my day. When I know something's really important, I've got to send a welcome email to Susie, or I need to call this person back about their auto ship appointment, or whatever it is. Instead of writing it in I don't want to write every single thing into my calendar, my nice, calendar. I'll put a sticky note on my desk, call Susie, and it'll go on the top of my laptop so that I see it throughout the day. And then once I accomplish it, I go like this and I throw it in my trash can. So sometimes in the middle of the day, I have sticky notes all over my desk, and it's a hot mess. But by the end of the evening, I feel really accomplished, because guess what? These are all in the trash like this, because I know I can visually see what I've gotten done that day. So that's a system that works for me. Now, you might think that's totally bizarre and you might not like to do that, but it works well for me. I like sticky notes, because then if I didn't get to it, because sometimes there's days that are crazy and I don't get to everything, I can take those little sticky notes and I can put them on the top of my my notepad for the next day. And when I come into my office in the morning, I see the things that I need to do first. Does that make sense? So I have my planner here. So I'll put them right on the top of the planner. So when I sit down at my desk, I'll be oh, okay, I've got to deposit that check into this account, or whatever it needs to be. Does that make sense? Okay. So you have to start to kind of play around in your business to see what's going to work for you, but you have to have a system. Okay. So your daily method of operations, this goes from the minute that you open your eyes in the morning. How are you starting your morning? We've talked about this recently. I forget what call it was on, because we do so many, but do you make your bed? Right? Do you make your bed? CEOs make their bed. They do. I guarantee you if you went around the world and you interviewed every CEO, they would all make their bed, because it's a mindset of order and success and energy. And people that do that start their day in productivity, because you already won. You're already a success. You got up, you get to breathe again and you made your bed. Like that's a successful morning, right? Especially if you have children, you made your bed, like you are a rock star. So it's going to set your day up for success. So simple, but super, super powerful. So how are you starting your morning? Do you have a spiritual practice that you do? You don't have to be a certain religion. You can, sit and just, breathe and get quiet. Do you have some quiet time? I understand that life is crazy, you guys. I have 3 little kids and a husband that is gone for, he's going to be gone for 4 days right now. He was just home for 1 day. We got him for 1 day. He's going to be gone for 4 days. So trust me, I understand it. It's the last week of school. It's crazy. My kids have stuff every single day. They have parties. They have end of the year, blah, blah, but this thing and the barbecue and the dancer said all the stuff. Okay. So I understand it. I understand that it's crazy. And I have my moments too, where I'm like, but I always outproduce my problems. Because that's my affirmation. That's my mindset. I outproduce my problems every day. And that has to be your mindset too. If you get overwhelmed with the little stuff, if you go in your room and you're like, oh my gosh, there's laundry everywhere and I can't, how are you going to run a 6-figure business? You can't, because there's so many moving parts to business. There's a lot of moving parts to business. It took me a really long time to understand that and to be okay with it. So, I'm going to say this to you guys because my mentor, Jeff, said it to me and I was really actually mad at him for a long time for saying it, but it really helped me in my daily business activity. And one of the things that's talked about a lot in network marketing is the freedom, right? Like producing the freedom. And sometimes I love that word. It's one of my favorite words. I use it all the time. You guys see my posts. I love the idea of freedom. I love that word. It's a powerful word, but owning a business doesn't give you freedom. I hate to break it to you guys. It gives you a level of freedom in your life that you cannot have by being an employee. And having financial abundance coming into your life is a sense of freedom, but owning a business does not give you freedom. And when Jeff said that to me, this was several years ago, I was like angry at him for a couple of days. I was like, he doesn't know about my freedom. I'm like, you know what I mean? I was wanted to because it upset me, because I had this whole mindset of we all kind of envision sitting on a beach doing nothing and having just millions of dollars flood into our bank account. Millionaires work harder than any other humans on the planet. That is a fact. I don't know any millionaire that's lazy. I don't know any millionaire that gets up past 6:30 a.m. They get up between 5 and 6. Some of them get up Susan Sly gets up at 4:30 in the morning. Every morning. Now I'm not there yet, but girlfriends produce $60 million in network marketing. So maybe I should start getting up at 4 a.m. I haven't quite managed to get to that place yet, because I still wake up with my kids. So I'm but that's what she does. She wakes up at 4, she prays for 30 minutes, she works out, she writes, and that's how she can be the successful person she is with 5 children. Because that is the commitment. That's her mindset. So when you look at a life like that and you go, oh, it must be easy for it. No, it's not. That's freedom to her, because she gets to run her day. So you see, you have to change what freedom means in your mind. Freedom is not having a schedule. Freedom is not winging it. Freedom is not sitting around on your butt doing nothing, waiting for the money to come in, because it will never come in. Freedom is the ability to create and to grow and to show up the way that you want to show up in the world. And that's what this profession allows. Does that make sense to everybody? Does that resonate with everyone? Because I know for me, that was a really hard concept for me to grasp. I struggled with it. I was like, well, I just want to sit in my backyard in a bathing suit and drink a Mai Tai. You can do that. You can do that. You can have those moments, but you have to produce way more than those moments where you're just kind of sitting around doing nothing. Okay. Residual income is a blessing. It's so amazing. And you will put effort in and you will continue to get paid for that effort, even when you're not physically working. Repeat what freedom is again. Oh gosh, I don't know what I said. What did I say? Suzanne is asking, repeat what freedom. For me, freedom is showing up in the world. I think this is what I said. Freedom is showing up in the world the way I was meant to show up, to do the things that I long to do. Whether it's go to the grocery store and buy 100% organic food and then not have to worry about the cost. That's freedom for me personally. Okay. It's to be able to, put my child in private school if I want to. We just enrolled Kelsey in a private school for kindergarten because I think she's going to do better there than public. That's an opportunity. That's freedom to me. We wouldn't have been able to do that a couple years ago. Okay. Taking my daughters on the retreat this weekend, paying cash for that trip. Like that's freedom to me, but it doesn't mean that I sit around and I just like wait for stuff to happen. I make things happen. Okay. So I really want to shift everyone's mindset because there's so much, like, I think there's a lot of disconnect with that in our industry. So your daily method of operations, that will define you. It will define like who you are, how you're showing up in your business. So really get on these calls. I'm going to be kind of not hard on you guys because that's not my nature, but I'm going to be really brutally honest with you because you guys are leaders and you've stepped above the rest of the team and said, I want more and I'm willing to freaking work hard for it. Okay. So you have to work hard. You have to work harder than you've ever thought was possible. Like there are days, guys, where I put in 12, 14-hour days. Not all the time. It's not every day. Not every day. I wouldn't be able to handle every day. I wouldn't want that. But there are times where it get, a bunch of enrollments come in or there's new people getting trained or, I do things outside of Isogenics. I just launched that class. We sold out in 4 days. So I've been putting in 14-hour days the last couple days, but I'm so excited about it. Doesn't feel like work because it's freedom to me, because it's what I'm doing. It's how I'm showing up in the world. And that's what you have to define for yourself is you're so excited about, like, I don't mind, signing someone up at, 8:30 at night after my kids go to bed or jumping on a training call. Like I like to do that because I'm excited about what we're doing in the world. Does that make sense? Like that is freedom that I get to decide that I want to do that in my evening time. Now I don't have to, no one's forcing me to, but you're going to have to set those boundaries and those guidelines in your own business. Okay. The next thing is for systems is you have to have business hours. Now I just talked about like when you have those long days, when you work a long time, and you will have those here and there, but it's not the standard, but you need to have set business hours. What are the set business hours? Hi, sweetie. What are the set business hours that you are going to produce? Like I know the times that I can get on calls like this. I know the times that I can do 3-way calls for the team. I know the times in my day that I can do sign up calls. I don't just wing it. That's why I have that online scheduler. You guys have all booked appointments through that. That's where I book all my calls. I pay $5 a month. It's called scheduleonce.com. I pay $5 a month. And it links right to my phone, to my Gmail. The person gets an email about our appointment and I get an email about our appointment. I like that system. That system works well for me. It doesn't mean it doesn't have glitches. Like the other day, somebody booked an appointment. I don't know why. I don't know if she didn't submit it right, but I didn't get it. It didn't come through. She was like, oh, you didn't call me. I was like, I never got it. So there's going to be stuff like that comes up in business. But if you're organized, you can address it. And then you can look at your calendar and go, okay, well, I have, 20 minutes right now. Are you available to jump on a call? So have your business hours. So my business hours, Monday through Friday, are 9 a.m. because then my kids are at school and Bo's asleep. 9 a.m. to 12, I work. I work hard in those 3 hours. Like I focus. You guys see me. I'm on training calls. I'm on social media. I'm answering questions. I'm doing posts. Like I don't do that all day long. That's my window when I have one baby sleeping and the other two are busy. Now we're coming into summer, mommies. I know most of us on here are mommies with young kids. A lot of us are. I get it. My kids are enrolled in nothing for summer. They didn't want to do anything. They just wanted to be home. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do all day? But you know what? We're going to swim and I'm going to do some I'm going to still be working through summer because I want to. And it's fun for me. And they're going to have moments where they can do independent activities. Your kids are allowed to be independent and do independent activities. I know if you have a baby, like I have a baby too. So I'm talking about like older kids, but like have them do a craft, make a phone call. Have them, watch a little video, send some emails. They can be outside having a picnic. You can be walking around on your phone. Like you can do it with them. And it doesn't mean you're ignoring them. It doesn't mean you're doing it all day. You're not checked out all day. But if you're honest with your kids, like, hey, my kids know that mommy runs a business from home. They get to see what it's like to be your own boss. They get to see what it's like for a woman to produce from home. Like those are all examples that I'm showing my children. So it's I think for me, it's a positive thing. And my girls, like both my girls want to be entrepreneurs. They already have business plans. Like Kayla's starting a bakery in Paris. She has a whole business plan laid out. And that girl could teach the compensation plan. Like you guys have seen her at training. She's like, yeah, you plus two, them plus two, 300 BV. Like she, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what she's going to do in her life, but she's seeing mommy in business. And I think that's a really empowering thing for, especially if you have daughters and sons, to see is their mom being able to produce and still be able to be there for their plays and all that stuff. Okay. So having that schedule, the schedule is going to give you freedom. If you don't have a schedule, you are 100%, I can guarantee you're living in some sort of chaos and disorder and overwhelm and fear, because you don't really know what's going to happen next, right? You're kind of like, I don't know if I'm going to be available. I don't know when I'm going to work because it's not scheduled. So a schedule breeds freedom. So if you want that freedom, schedule your life. You cannot have freedom if you're scattered, and you can't run a successful business if you're scattered. So you have to have a schedule. I know for some of us that are like free spirits, like I get it, guys, I am too. A schedule is like, I don't want to be tied down. I don't want to be tied down to my schedule. No one that is producing anything of value doesn't have a schedule. Talk to the people that don't have schedules and ask them how much they're producing in their life. It's going to be pretty minimal, because you can't wing it. You can't wing your way to success. Success is a state of mind. It's a state of being. So you can't wing yourself to your goals is what I want to say. Like you have to be very strategic. And especially when you're running a business from home, you have to be strategic. Okay. So, just to kind of recap really quick here. So what are you willing to give up to get what you want? What activity, what habit? What is your daily method of operations? How are you showing up? What is your schedule? Okay. Those are like those three things to create a system. When you start doing it, even if you're not really sure, if you just start to get into that practice, like I used to check emails all throughout the day. Bad idea, because there's always going to be a new email in your inbox and you're like, oh, what's this? There's a sale, like 40, like, I don't know, whatever, like you're going to get something that's going to be distracting. It's going to distract you. So I now only check emails unless I know that there's something going on that's really important. I only check emails twice a day, usually in the morning and then like mid-afternoon, and then sometimes in the evening, sometimes 3 times a day, depending on what's going on that I need to be aware of. But I have specific times. It's not like, at 9:05 every day, but I have specific times that I know I'm going to plug in and check my email. Don't be checking your email like to see like, oh, did somebody, did I get a lead in my inbox? Like, don't be worried about that. Okay. What do you think is better? The minute somebody contacts you, you jump on them like they're the first person that's ever spoken to you about Isagenix? Or do you think it's better to have posture and presence and get back to them when you have time and say, oh my gosh, I just had a really busy day. I'm sorry, I'm just now seeing your message. What do you think is going to be more attractive to them, especially if they're looking for like a business opportunity? Like, oh, hi, you messaged me. You want to talk about Isagenix? Like people are going to be like, you know what I mean? So don't get so excited about 1 or 2 leads. Like it doesn't mean you can't, you're not visualizing what you want. But when you put that pressure on other people, they feel it and they will retreat so fast. They will run the other way away from you. Okay. So be focused on just connecting with people, being productive, getting into that rhythm of what does it look like to show up and be a business owner, especially in network marketing. Because there's no like specific formula, you guys, because every leader does it a little bit differently, but there are clues, there are steps. And anyone is in our company, you could interview anyone in our company that's in the 6 to 7 figure income range, and they do some sort of these steps that I'm teaching you today. Might not look exactly like my whiteboard and my little things or whatever, but they have a scheduling system. They wake up early, they make their bed. They don't probably watch a lot of TV or gossip, read gossip magazines and all that stuff. I guarantee it. Because it's a mindset of being in productivity, and those other things are draining. They're energy vampires and they waste your time. Okay. So like, what's the game on, I don't even know the game on Facebook, but like the Candy Crush Saga, people play that stuff. You can't be a business owner if you're playing video games online. I'm not trying to be mean if anybody does that. I'm not judging you, but I'm just being honest. You can't be a business owner if you're doing that. You know what I mean? Produce 10 hours a day and then play that for 10 minutes. If you really like, if it gives you so much joy and that's your thing, like whatever, but you can't be doing that at like 12 p.m. and on a Wednesday. It's not going to happen. So Monday through Friday, you want to have some sort of schedule. If you want to work on Saturdays, you should always have one day free. Okay. One day free. I mean, whether you're a biblical person or not, but like even God rested on the 7th day. Okay. He took the day off. Like I like to take Sundays off. I usually don't do a lot in terms of business on Sundays. And sometimes I do, but I always do like a power post on Sunday. There's still things that are going to happen that are, as your business grows, that you might need to answer a question here or there. But I like to try to spend Sundays as my spiritual, like family time, and not be on my phone a lot with my kids and all of that. But Saturday mornings are still like a producing time for me. So I will do some sort of producing, usually like, 7 to 10 a.m. on Saturdays. I'll usually do some stuff, and it could be like blogging or answering emails or whatever I need to do for my business, but you'll kind of get into that. And just so you guys know, like you're starting your Isagenix business. Some of you do have brands outside of Isagenix that you're creating. I did not create those things when I started. Okay. So please don't look at people like the Susan Slies and the Emily Varvas and whoever and go, or Lori Harder. Lori Harder has all these products, right, that she sells outside of Isagenix. You guys, she was making $100,000 a month before she really launched her other brand. She was making about $100,000 in Isagenix. So just know that like it takes time to get there. You don't have to start to create all these other things. Like just focus in on your network marketing business, because your network marketing business is going to be a platform that will help you fund other things later on if you have a desire to do that as your brand and your business grows. But don't try to chase, two chickens is what I call it. You're trying to run two businesses at the same time. You're chasing two chickens. And you're not going to be very successful because one of them is going to go there and this one, and you're going to be like, wow. So like focus in, master what you're doing right now. And then you can start to expand that as you grow. Okay. Hold on. Let me check my notes here because, I wrote down believe before you achieve. Okay. So let's talk about belief really quick. Belief is so key. And this is what we talked about last time. Like, who do you see how would the executive version of yourself act? What would she wear? How would she speak? How would she show up every day? You have to create it and believe it in your mind before you live it in your life. That is a fact. It's actually scientific fact because that's how, and we're reading Pocket Full of Money right now, and he breaks it down so beautifully in there. He breaks it down how quantum physics works in that way for us. So you have to believe it here before you will see it here. And most of society is doing the opposite right now. They're focusing on what they're seeing here. And then they're like, well, it's not going to happen. Well, it's not going to happen because you just said it's not going to happen. So if you don't believe that you're going to be paid as executive by July 15th for the Crystal Executive Challenge, you won't. If you don't believe it, that it's possible for you and that you deserve it, you won't get it. So one of the things you can do is utilize an affirmation. We talked about these last time, but they're so important, that I am always paid as executive. Like write that everywhere. Have it on a sticky note. I am always paid as executive, even if you're only a consultant right now. Because guess what? You have to be a consultant before you're executive, right? You have to be a manager. I'm only a manager. People will say that to me, well, I'm only a manager. You have to be manager before you can be executive. You're one step closer to where you want to be. I'm not even director yet. It's so far, like that's it. Think about what you're telling yourself all day. So if you just think about it in little stepping stones, like I'm a manager, like I'm a manager in my business and I have, 5, 6, 7, 10, 9, like how many people are in your downline right now? Look at your downlines. That's your business. Like a lot of you have a lot of people in your downline. That's your team. That's your business. You are the CEO of all of that. So don't minimize like, oh, I've only enrolled, I only have one consultant. I've only enrolled 5 people. Yeah. How many people are on your team? 50, 30? You have 30 people on your team. That's amazing. You have 10 people on your team. Amazing. Imagine if you had a little coffee shop and you had 10 employees. Wouldn't you be proud of yourself? Like even if you had 2 employees, I have 2 employees. Like I started my own business, I have 2 employees. People get into network marketing and they expect to happen like that. And they're like, oh, I only have 100 people on my team. Oh, only 100 people? That's a lot of flipping people. They were all in your living room. You probably would feel really powerful, right? But they're like these little bubbles we see. So, but those are people that you are blessing because you showed up, and you never know the circumstances, the events that people are going to come in. Like I'm going to use Annette as an example, and Colleen and I know each other through the fire department. Our husbands work together. And then we found out like through just following each other on social media that we had all of these same parenting traits. And we were like, oh my gosh, girl, we totally connected. She joined the team because she raises her children very similar to how I raised mine, but we didn't know that. And then she brought in Annette. And now Annette's part. So you guys, you never know like where people are going to come from. Like I didn't go out and prospect Colleen. She showed up in my life and we developed a relationship, and she's been on the team for a long time. And she's just now raising her hand and saying, hey, Britt, I think I really want to do this. Right, Colleen? Yeah. I see you, girl. But you know what I mean? Like you don't ever know how people are going to come into your organization. So if you're thinking right now, well, I don't have any leaders. Well, are you being the leader that you need to be to attract the leaders that you desire? That's what you have to don't worry about other people. You can only control and worry about yourself. So be the very best version of yourself every day. And I guarantee you guys, people will start to show up. They will start to show up. They will start to notice what you're doing because it's a presence and it's a persona that you have, that you are doing something in this world that is of value, and people will want to be a part of that. But that has to begin before the people are going to show up. Does that make sense for everybody? Okay. So what I'd love to do right now, I want to open up the lines. Let me see if I got all the chat questions. Okay, we got those. What I'd love to do is open up, oops, I'm going to go back to gallery. Okay. I'm going to unmute you guys, or it might be loud. I'm going to have people unmute themselves. Does anyone have questions or comments? Questions, comments? So quiet. Come on, guys. Somebody has to have something to say. Scheduling.
I have a question.
Yes.
I don't know if it's relevant. When you're a manager, how do you maintain manager status?
You're ready, dude.
Great question. So you keep enrolling. You don't stop with 2 because 2 might not keep going with you.
Right. Okay.
Your
so they
goal.
Have to maintain their order.
They do have to maintain their order. So it's just like going consultant, going director, going executive. It's all the same. It's never going to stop. Like you're never going to stop, if that makes sense. Like if you think about, there's a velocity, there's an energy when something's in motion. And if you just stop, the energy kind of dies, if that makes sense. So you don't want to stop at consultant or stop at manager. You want to keep sharing and keep enrolling people, because as you do that, there'll be more and more people that raise their hand that want to get there too, that want to step up, that want to build.
Gotcha.
Yeah, good question. Thanks, Britt.
I got one for you.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm off Facebook right now. So, and Annette and I were just talking yesterday on a Zoom call. I'm trying to brainstorm ideas about how to, prospects, how to find prospects in a market that's, kind of cold, I guess, starting that way. So coming up with brand new people and bringing them in. I know you talked about going into gyms and bringing in business cards and just talking about it, getting comfortable talking about it that way. I've got some old friends I talked about who are all kind of considering and thinking about things after watching me use this stuff for a long time, watching my progress. But otherwise, going out and just meeting new people, I wish I could be totally like you. I hope someday that I will be confident enough to talk the way you do and make everything sound so smooth and easy. But yeah, we were just kind of discussing that and how to go on out and find some, new prospects and where to go from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great question, Colleen. So it's really like, it goes back to the action thing that we talked about on Monday too, is it's just doing it. Like, I wish there was like a secret formula that I could sprinkle on all of you guys and it would just like boom, but like the action is the answer. The going out there, like I said, walking into a gym, walking into a chiropractic office, saying the wrong thing, having that moment where you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know why I just said that. That was stupid. Or I said that, it doesn't matter. Like the action, I promise you, if you guys and I go together, team up one day and just make a list of a couple places in the community that it could be hair salons. You guys, you could walk into hair salons and say, we do a 16-week body challenge, transformation challenge, where people can win $200 and the grand prize is $25,000. Use the ISA body challenge as a great thing to promote when you're walking into businesses. Our company offers a massive, think about when you see weight loss challenges places. Those are very popular and people love to be a part of a challenge and they love to win money. Even if they never do anything, they love to be a part of something where they could win money. Use the ISA body challenge as a massive marketing tool, especially if you're going out into your areas, which I really encourage all of you to do. And I want to give a shout out to Alex right now. Alex is down in San Diego. She really doesn't have a support system down there in terms of our team. She's kind of just lone soldier right now, right, babe? And so, she started to do the sweat and sips. She just planned them. She puts them on Facebook. She made a beautiful little meme. And you know what? She's just showing up in the park. She brings her son. She's a mom. She's got Jigen's young. He's two years old. And he's all over the place, just like all of our babies are all over the place. Alex she's showing up. She's doing it. So through the process of that, you're going to have to be okay, guys, with making mistakes and falling on your face. I wish I could tell you that's not going to happen, but I would be lying to you because it's happened to me a million times. And there's still times I'm like, oh gosh, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't have done that. I don't know, but I took a chance. You got to take chances sometimes in business. And Kathy Lamar, she's in Utah. Kath, what are some, I know you've done a lot of women's networking things and Kathy will share. Kathy is shy. She doesn't love to go, right, Kathy? You've had to get out of your comfort zone. Can you share with them some of the things you've done that have helped you?
Well, I happened to find a great women's networking group. It's huge. When we moved here, if you know anything about Utah, there's a lot of network marketing companies in Utah, and either they can have a really good persona or they can really have a bad stigma. So you have to fight with that a lot. But I joined an amazing women's networking group. You guys, and I don't always feel comfortable. I get all excited and I sign up for the monthly lunch. And that morning I'm just oh, I don't want to go to this lunch. I don't really feel like it, but I make myself go. I go and I meet amazing new women every single time I go. I gather their cards. Everybody there asks what you do for a job. And we share amongst ourselves. We start working on relationships. I don't throw isogenics out there at all. I let them know I'm part of a big health and wellness company. For the past 12, 13 years, I've been helping people achieve their health goals. Let's set up a private coffee appointment. So then we set up a private coffee appointment and then we get to know each other just a little bit more. I've made some really, really good friends. I joined a running group and I've made a lot of friends and I've enrolled a lot of those people from my running group. So there's a lot of different ways just networking. Oh, hiking group. We joined hiking with dogs in Utah. It's just, there's all kinds of great ways to go out there to meet people and network and start building relationships. I'm trying to think what else. Though that's probably been my very best my very best resource since moving here 3 years ago. I moved away for about 25 years. So other than family, I really didn't have a lot of people. I have enrolled some people, I knew from high school. That's been my biggest friend maker and relationship developer is the women's networking groups. When I was in Nevada, meetup groups were huge, but meetup isn't that big in Utah. So I don't know how that is in California.
Yeah, those are huge tips, you guys. Like, don't always think about it from like it doesn't always have to be a business. Like, you want to just work on expanding who you are and the amount of people that know who you are and who you're around. And it doesn't mean that they're all going to join Isogenics, but you might get referrals from other people. Like, you meet someone and they're like, yeah, it's not really for me, but then they tell their friend about it and you get a phone call. I mean, I've signed up all sorts of Lauren's on. Lauren was a referral from Nicole was enrolled by someone else on the team that no longer does Isogenics. And Nicole and Lauren were friends. And Nicole's like, I don't want to do the business, but call this girl Brittany because she helped me. Lauren showed up on the team. She's now my personally enrolled, and she's building a business with us, and she's on all these trainings. So you never know where people are going to come from. And that's one of the really, really cool things about our business. And what I want to encourage you guys to think about is, instead of it being scary, make it fun. Make it fun. Like, you might be nervous at first, like any new experience, but make it fun. Like, go on to find moms groups. If you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm just bogged down with the baby at home, like, go find a stay-at-home moms group to like have a play date with. And don't go in there and try to sell Isogenics to all of them. Go in there and make friends and get to know people, and people will go, gosh, what is this? What do you, whatever, like, it doesn't matter. So, Bo and I take a mommy and me class on Wednesdays at 12. So we've like met, a lot of families in there, and you just don't know where people are going to come from. You just go out and live your life. But if you're a runner, if you're into fitness, if you like to knit, if you're a gardening person, like, I don't know, whatever your passions are, just find other people that are like you. Yes, Lauren. Did you have a question, babe? Oh, I thought you raised your hand.
Okay. I have a question, actually.
Annette has a question.
So any ideas on how you could go out in front of a big group, in front of a big group of like your code market, where you're not going out one by one, but, doing events, or has anybody ever done this, giving talks somewhere, or?
I have done all of it, girlfriend. I have walked into chiropractic offices and asked if I could come do a lunch and learn for their staff. So a lunch and learn is when you go in, you can do this in any business office. You can go into it doesn't matter, and just say, hey, do you guys take a lunch break? I'm a local health and wellness coach, and I'd love to give a free presentation for 20 minutes during your lunch break. Do you think your staff or your people would be interested in that? Mm-hmm. You could go into a local gym, a local spa, a local hair studio, and say, hey, I would love to come in and offer my services for free. I would love to come in and do a 20-minute presentation for people about weight loss, healthy aging, and energy and performance. Do you think any of your people might be interested? Now, the only reason I know how to, I just like said that right now, but I've said something like that before. I've signed up 2 chiropractors on the spot in their office from cold calling, walking in their buildings. 2. Did they produce? No, they didn't. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's a good story because it happened, and I don't, they could have been millionaires in Isogenics. They chose not to be. But it doesn't, I'm not attached to the outcome. That's something I did. I was so pregnant with Kayla because I was really pregnant with her when I started my business, and I would go, I was like, well, I've got 2 months before the baby comes. And I was making I think I was making like $1,200 a month in Isogenics, but I was excited about that. I was so dang excited about over $1,000 a month because I'd been bartending before and all this stuff and working 3 jobs. And I was excited about $1,200 a month residual income. And so I was like motivated, like Kayla was coming, and I was like, I'm going to have this newborn baby. I'm not going to be able to get out as much. So me and my friend Chris Griffith, she's still on the team. She still builds a little bit. We made a list of all these wellness centers, all these gyms. She drove. I walked in and talked. Like, we just did it. Like, and so outside of social media, you can have so much fun getting to know people. You might walk into a gym and find out that they're having a wellness boutique coming up next month, and you can have a table there for $50. And then you might go and set up your table, and you might meet 3 moms that end up being your top business. Like, you don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, for a long time we were doing, Leslie Maltz and I used to do Rise and Shine on Saturday mornings at our local park. It was a free event. We put it on Facebook, and we would do yoga, meditation, and we would have a little table about isogenics, and we'd have Replenish out there, and ladies would come. It was really popular. We stopped doing it, but like a lot of people. How many of you went to Rise and Shine today? Was anyone on? Becca went. It was fun, right? Like, we did yoga, we did a little workout, and then we had this little table, and like it just kind of created a community. And people would be like, when's the next event? They want to come. Like, people want to be a part of something. It was at the park. It was free. It cost us $0 except for our time. And it was, we spent an hour there. So lots and lots of ways. But yeah, Colleen, Annette, find a partner in your area. If you don't have a partner in your area, do it on your own. I will help you come up with ideas like Alex is doing. Alex is like, Britt, there's not much happening in my area. And she created it. She's created it. She just went for it. Cool. Questions, comments?
I have a question.
Yes.
Hi. What about if you're not able to leave much, like you're kind of housebound more than typical people?
Yeah.
Any ideas on that?
Your phone is your best friend. Make your phone your best friend. Social media. Get outside your comfort zone a little bit. Start making phone calls. Write that, how many people do you have on your list right now, and how many people have you actually contacted? Because anyone can write a list, right? We can all write lists. We're capable of that. It's how many people have you contacted, right? And you just don't look at the whole list. Maybe there's 50 people in there. That's overwhelming for you. Start with one. Start with one. And I don't, I'm a spiritual person, so I always like to pray before I do things, and usually I'll get an answer. Like, who am I supposed to talk to today? And like a name will just come. It'll just pop in my mind. And I'll be like, oh, that person thought, so kind of get in that space of like, you're open to the newness of it.
Hey, Britt, can I add something?
Yes, please.
Kelly, you're on Facebook a lot, which is awesome. I love your comments and everything that you post. I think Facebook is huge for you, and maybe you've already done this, but there's some great groups on Facebook. Go through and join 5 groups. Pick a couple that you really like, that you really think are great. Really give your all for a couple of months in that group. Post regularly, comment on people's comments. People go check out people who comment on your stuff or whatever. Look at them and see if maybe they might be someone that you would like to have for a business partner, and add them as a friend. Just really focus on those couple of groups for a couple of months. See what after a while, review it, see what you're getting from the group. If you're not really getting good people or making, relationships, leave that group or focus on a couple of other different groups and see what you can find there.
That's great. Thank you, Kathy.
Yeah, beautiful advice, Kathy. Thank you. The other thing, guys, that I really like to do, and I'm going to do it right now as an example, is Instagram stories. If you're not using Instagram stories, it's really fun. Look at Kathy, just like, ugh. You can be really silly on it. There's like those things, I don't know, I think those things are funny. You put it on your head. But I'm going to do an Instagram story right now because I'm just going to give you an example. So this can be on my biz page. But we're having our executive leadership training with all the ladies. Ladies, say hi. Everybody wave. We're here with our babies learning about residual income. That's it. It's going to go on social media. I don't know who's going to watch that. Someone might watch it and go, what does she do? I want to stay home with my baby and be at the kitchen counter having a meeting and make it that took me 10 seconds. So little things throughout your day, like making your shake, like just your day, like what you're doing, and just get some ideas. Start to kind of watch, Becca does them, watch, Emily Varva does a ton. So does Lori Harder. I'm starting to get a little bit better at it. because I wasn't using them for a while, but it's just like little parts of my day. I'll videotape it or I'll talk about something. And here's the thing, if people don't want to watch it, they don't have to click on it. So it's not, you're not bugging anybody. It's not filling up any feed. It's its own separate entity on Instagram. So it's not in the feed. It just, you click, like your little picture will come up. It'll be like, you know, Brittany has a story, and then you can see what I'm doing if you want. If you don't want to see what I'm doing, you don't have to click on me. But it's just kind of fun in there, and you don't know. So you're not really sure. And there was a girl, hold on one second, guys. Let me get him a snap. There was a girl actually that Brittany Goodnight is friends with that started following me on Instagram, and I didn't know who she was. I saw she posts these amazing workout videos. Like, she's amazing. And she's always working out with her kids in her garage, and she's like so strong. And I kept seeing that she was watching my stuff and commenting on my stuff. So I sent her a message, and I was like, hey girl, like, and she was like, oh, my friend Brittany referred, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. She just joined my Isogenics team. So we started talking about Isogenics, and she's like, yeah, I really want to do it. I'm going to get in touch with Britt. So now she's already like had a conversation with me too. So when she does join the team, she'll probably feel more comfortable. Britt, I was just talking about your friend. What's her name? Oh wait, hold on. There you are.
Her name's Brittany as well. She's my best friend.
Okay, because it's like Bad Iron 3 or something on Instagram, but she's like this badass weightlifter girl. She's so rad. And like, anyways, I didn't know who she was, but she kept, so you just don't know. Like, people will start to watch you and follow and see, but you have to kind of put yourself out there in order for that to happen. Okay? Cool. While getting him a snack. Other questions, comments? Trying to see if people are... Kelly, yes.
Say bye-bye.
Oh, okay. So I have a few people interested that kind of keep commenting on my feed, and, you know, what am I doing? And then I follow up with them, and they sort of retract back. And I've already built a relationship with them before I even started Isogenics anyway. So that really hasn't changed, because I still check in on them. Hey, how you doing? And but the few leads that I have are kind of flatlining. So I'm kind of getting a little, I guess, disappointed, because I don't know how much I can push or just let it be and go keep you know, asking or showing other people or inviting them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure everyone has run into that, where you're like, oh, you start out because you sign up maybe your sister or family members, and they're like, great, consultant, now what? Okay. So any advice?
Yeah, I mean, part of that is also like a mindset of receiving, like being open to receive more, and then being, yes, we talked about this, right? Like then being ready to handle the people coming in, because a lot of times it's a mental block of, well, what if then they join me and I can't leave them, and I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know exactly what your inner dialogue is, but that sometimes, anytime I feel like I'm a little bit stuck in business, because it'll happen, like there's times where I enroll tons of people. I'm actually in like a lull right now. And I thought about the other day, I was like, oh gosh, it was free enrollment. I didn't even enroll anyone last week. I've been so focused on like these trainings and helping you guys that I really haven't been like open to receiving like new people coming in, because right now for me, I feel like I have all these great people. So I want to work, I'm putting my energy into working with you guys and helping you guys get going. So I haven't been as open to new prospects. And I thought about that actually at the end of last week. I was like, oh wow, free enrollment just like went by for me. And I wasn't even like I wasn't really engaged in it. And guess what? Like nobody showed up for me, right? Does that make sense? Because I was kind of like, not blocking myself, but I wasn't really consciously aware of like, but on the weeks that I wake up on a Monday and I'll be like, I am going to enroll 2 people this week. And guess what? It always happens. It always, when I'm clear on that, they just come out of the woodwork. They're like, hey, I'm ready. I saw this. And it might be random people. It might be old people. It might be a person I've talked to a couple times, but it's like this energy. And here's the thing, we're going to learn a lot about this in Pocket Full of Money, but it's detaching. And this took me so long, you guys, and I'm not a master at it by any means, but like detaching from the outcome is huge. Like when you message someone and your intention is to close them, like they will feel that. Like it doesn't have to be like, if your intention is to serve them and like to develop a relationship with them, that's a different energy than like, I need a sign up. People will be like, I need to find signups. Like, no, you don't need to, like, you don't need to do anything, right? Like you're committed to attracting the right people that want to join you. See how that's different? That's detaching from their outcome. So then that feeling of like, oh, what do I do after consultant? Like I would just get clear on like, just continue doing what you're doing and showing up. And like Kathy said, like going into those groups and kind of expanding, like you're just starting this journey. So, you know, maybe, and then you've been like posting a lot on social media, which I'm so proud of you. I know that was like outside of your comfort zone. Take it a step further, do a Facebook Live. You guys, Facebook Lives, like they're really powerful because a lot of people will watch them. Even if you don't think like, oh, maybe there's not many people on my page who are not going to watch it. You don't know that. You don't know where your video is going to like pop up to somebody, and you're like, people like Facebook Lives. You could just do a Facebook Live about why you love your cleanse days. Like I did that the other day and I added like 15 people to the health group. I don't know what they're going to do, but they're plugged into our system now. They're going to see things and they might be inspired at some point and say, yes, I don't know. I'm not worried about it. You know what I mean? But I just did a thing about, I did a little 10-minute video. How many of you saw it? Like about cleansing. That was it.
Yeah, it was so good too.
And I posted the link like, hey, if you want to join, like request to join, I'll add you. People like to be a part of groups. It's a great way to just do a Facebook Live and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. I've never done this. Like I was super nervous. I still get nervous before Facebook Lives, but I just do them. I do them consistently. I try to do 1 or 2 a week. I do more sometimes because I have a lot of things that I want to say, but you don't have to do as many as I do. Just kind of grow into that. Okay. Cool. Other questions, comments? I know we're coming up on the hour. Alex. Thanks, Alex. I bet Jake is probably sleeping on it. So let's go around really quick, and I want everyone to share their intention for the week. What is their intention for the week of one of their, hold on, they're like your daily method of operations. Let's do this. Sorry, scratch that. Better thought. Okay. We are going to go around and everyone's going to share the one thing they're going to give up doing and their one new daily method of operation. Okay. Who would like to, I'm going to pick on Natalie because she's first on the screen. Natalie, you're up, bro. I feel like you went first last week too. Go for it.
What am I going to give up? Candy Crush would be a good one. No, but I only play that like, you know, like half hour a day. It's not as much, but maybe that would be something I could think of. What else am I gonna give up? That's pretty much the only thing. I don't watch much of TV, so I'll try with the Candy Crush.
So Natalie, I want to give you, so I want you to add up, so half an hour a day. I want you to, after we get off this call, I want you to write down half an hour a day, every day, times 7. And I want you to look at how many hours a month, that little half hour that seems like nothing. I want you to see what that number is, and I bet you're going to go, oh my gosh. So just
that's true.
Being consciously aware of it. But thank you for sharing that and being honest. That's so great because now you're going to catch yourself when you're doing it. You're going to go, oh my God.
I'm going to feel guilty every time I get on the iPad now.
Don't feel guilty. Don't feel guilty. Like you have whatever resets your
brain.
Take a picture. But just like, what could I be doing right now? And then you focus back in on your why of like why you want to do this. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Lauren, you're next on my little thing here.
I can't hear her. Oops.
I feel like we couldn't hear you last week too, huh? I can't hear you. Okay. Okay. Well, will you type? I feel like you typed last week too. Will you type it because we want to hear? He's freezing. Okay, we'll come back. Lauren, we'll come back to you, babe. All right, Kelly.
Okay, so I spend a lot of time on Facebook, and I think it's way too much, even though it's sort of my main tool. But I can, like what you were saying earlier, it's so true. You follow a story, you click on it, you watch the video, and then you go to another place, you research that, and then you start, going down the rabbit hole. So I'm going to stop doing that. I'm just going to use it as a tool to, as getting prospects and getting my message out without, hammering isogenics all the time. Like, put myself out there more. Like my lifestyle, or just, I noticed this with last weekend or the weekend before, my daughter graduated from college, and my husband and I had our 28th anniversary. I had so many likes and so many comments, more than any vaccine post that I make, or inspirational quote or whatever, or isogenic. So that got me thinking, like, okay, well, where do I take this? People are more interested in I guess me, you, or my family, my kids. So I don't know. I kind of went off on a tangent there, but I guess less time on Facebook.
Yeah, and post you. Like, people want to see you. Absolutely. Like, I did I did a shake boomerang in my bathing suit the other day, totally outside my comfort zone. You guys, I did not want to post that. Emily's doing my Instagram for me. She's like branding my Instagram page for me, and she's like, I'm posting this. And I was like, oh, Lord, like, so many people liked that. I was like, out of all the stuff I post, people like, that's so stupid. But like, people like that. They want to be whatever. So just be you, and absolutely post more about you, and just who you are, and people will be attracted. So thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, Annette, you're up.
Okay. I'm with you, Kelly. My phone. I'm definitely too often on my phone, Facebook, checking my emails constantly. No matter what I'm doing, if I'm working or with my kids, even, it's bad. So I really want to focus when I'm working, when I have like things to do, to not check emails, to not even have my phone with me here on my desk, and to have maybe designated times where I would follow up on social media or my emails. Kelly, I definitely noticed this too. As soon as I post something which is like personal about me, my kids also, definitely like so much more engagement, better than any motivational posts or even the business for me now, because I don't have that many Facebook friends yet or followers. So yeah, so I think it's a good idea to incorporate the business somehow in your family, in your daily life. And so I'm thinking about ideas too. And it's a big challenge for me actually to constantly think what I can post and put myself out there. Yeah.
Great tips, Annette. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, it's and here's the thing with social media, you do want to be deliberate about what you post, and it does take conscious thought. So it is a new, like when you first start to brand a business, like, I'm not gonna lie, I spend a lot of energy of like, what value am I gonna put out there? That's what always where I try to come from, is like, what value am I gonna put out there today? But it's part of being a leader and showing up and building a business. So you'll get in that group, but know that I have those moments too, like, where I'm like, oh my gosh, my post, like, what am I gonna put, But then usually if I feel that resistance, like I'm focusing too much on me, and then I'm like, okay, what do people need to hear right now? And I'll get back in that space, and so an idea will come. It'll just like, okay, cool. Thank you for sharing. Suzanne, you're up, babe.
Oh, hi. I can definitely tell you that I spend way too much time on social media, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, LinkedIn. I'm trying to get up on LinkedIn, but then it's really draining, as you said, and it really takes so much of my time without producing anything. So I'm just commenting and reading about people's lives, but what does it bring me? Nothing. I would love to make my posts more personal. For example, my kids use the shakes and the bars, but they're teenagers, they're 15. There's no way I could get a, isogenics glass with a shake, a picture of them to post. Oh my God, even my kids love it. That doesn't work for me. I don't know how to incorporate my personal life with the business aspect of it. I don't know how to do that. I would love to, but my kids being teenagers doesn't allow me that. So I'm out of ideas. I don't know how to incorporate business with my social life. Yes, on my personal posts, I get a gazillion, like anniversaries, like like Annette said, anniversaries, this and that, you get a gazillion posts, hundreds of them, comments or likes. How do I incorporate business into that? I have a problem with it. I don't know how to make that smooth and functional.
I have an idea for you. Do you want to hear it?
Yes.
Okay. So how many other people do you think out there struggle with raising teenagers that would relate to you on a level that I'm not quite there yet, but I can sympathize because I know what I acted like when I was a teenager, and that was a nightmare. So I'll post something like this. How many parents out there with teenagers want to lose your mind 5 times a day? Raise your hand. That's it. That's your post. That's it.
That's so good.
I guarantee you, your feed is going to go. People want to talk. They want to talk about what they want to talk about. And all of a sudden you have engagement. People are seeing your post. They're seeing you. It has nothing.
So you would post a picture of you? Is that what you're saying?
It could be like a phrase with a little, you could do the color memes.
Yeah.
Raise your hand. Put your favorite emoji below if your teenagers are driving you absolutely bonkers. People will post all sorts of funny stuff. It's it's the engagement of attracting people to your page, to who you are. Does that make sense? So
okay.
Fun with it.
Okay, but I have to say something else. I have a quite conservative husband who is not on Facebook. This has happened to me personally before. I have posted an article about teenagers having issues with studying, or I don't know, whatever. I can't put my finger on it. The next day or the same day, my husband comes to me. Why did you post this article? So-and-so made a comment. Your kid is not like that. Why are you posting this? So I get resentment and I get scolded by my own husband because he doesn't know where it came from, but somebody makes a comment at his work because his employees are part of my Facebook pages. And I get scolded. So I'm like, okay, could you please remove that? So I'm hesitant and I don't want to create anything. If I say that, they're going to say, so what do you mean? Your kids are driving you crazy? Why are you posting this on Facebook? You know what I'm saying?
You just made a whole story about something that hasn't happened yet, so you don't know that for sure. But what I would do is find a way to do it that feels right for you, that's not going to cause problems between your husband and you. But it doesn't have to be I think that you're overthinking it a little bit. So underthink it and just have fun and be you. And then you're going to get inspiration. Kathy, what do you want to say?
Hey, I used it to my advantage. We first started Isogenics when our son was a teenager. And one of my big stories was that I made my son have a shake every morning for breakfast because I knew he got one good thing in his body.
I've been doing that.
So you can use your kids as a resource. Don't let them limit you. Use them as a resource and tie them in. Get one of your kids to take a picture of a shake. Or you can do it. Just really focus that if you're giving your child your teenager good nutrition, he can eat whatever he wants the rest of the day.
Or like Suzanne, it could be something funny. You ask your kids to take a picture of you drinking a shake, and then that could be your post was the funny look you get from your teenagers when you ask them to do a picture of social media.
That's true.
Whatever. You could do to be you just have fun, just be you. You're gonna find your groove. Okay. But the last thing I'll say, and then we're going to move on, is I would pick 2 social media platforms to get consistent at. I'm not on Snapchat. I don't understand it. And it's another thing that I have to do. So I don't want to do it because it's a waste of my time. So get good at Instagram stories and Facebook. Pick 2 things, whether it's LinkedIn and Facebook, whatever it is. Don't try to do 4 at once.
Yeah.
It's too much. So pick 2. Pick 2, get solid at 2, then you can expand from there.
Got it. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Colleen, you're up.
Okay, phone, absolutely. I'm even off Facebook, and oh my gosh, you guys, there's so much time that goes into Facebook. When you're off, you're like, wow. But no, seriously, phone. I think I'll try to get rid of some of my chaos and work a little more on my schedule. Number 1. Cool. And a little bit of goal planning here with trying to brainstorm some ideas on how to get out there and like we talked about earlier.
Right, and we had talked about maybe doing a business page that's not a personal entity for you right now with some of the stuff that you have going on. So that's something to think about too.
I will.
Cool. Thank you for sharing. Awesome. Kath, you're up. Kathy.
Oh,
you want me? Yeah.
So You guys are going to laugh because mine's completely opposite. You guys, I don't watch TV. My husband left for 5 days and I didn't even turn the TV on. I honestly do not even know how to work it. So things like that. My goal is to spend more time on Facebook. I have a hard time. I sit down and I start scrolling through and I'm commenting on all the team stuff, and I try and really be good about the health group and the wealth group comment. Like, I don't ever get around to commenting on my homepage and all the other people that I'm friends with. My goal is exactly the opposite, to spend some more time on other people and working on my relationships with the friends that I already have in Facebook. I have a lot, and I don't ever see any of their posts. I only see the team posts, because I'll spend that time on Facebook, and then I'm like, I am so done with Facebook. I get off, and I never, prospect or look at other people's pages very often. So that's my goal, is to really focus more on that, being very deliberate in my posts. My goal is to get up a half an hour earlier so that I have more time to spend on Facebook. And also my daily method of operation, I want to refine my schedule now that it's summer. We have almost an acre of property, and it's hugely overwhelming with plants and flowers and all kinds of stuff. So I need to change up my summer schedule so that I can fit all this in. So that's mine.
Cool. Thank you for sharing, Kat. Lena.
Hi.
Hi.
So mine is, I actually just started this Sunday, trying to figure it out in our schedule, because we have such busy but productive days. It's hard sometimes to fit in a really powerful post. So I've tried to now work out what I'm going to post throughout the week, especially with different other topics besides shakes and ketogenics. So really scheduling in more time for really powerful Facebook posts.
I think I've noticed your Facebook posts shifted, and they've been really great. I love like the lighting that you're using, and like you've done really, really good. And here's the thing too, with what Lena's saying is, if you want to be taken seriously, be consistent, right? Like, you can't just do these activities for a month and go, well, they didn't work. I didn't grow my business. Like, people are watching you. Yeah. They're watching and they're waiting and they're learning and they're seeing if you're going to be consistent or you're going to be a fly by the pan, flash of everything. So yeah, really, really great, Lena, for sure. And then what's your biggest distraction in terms of what you want to give up?
Other people tagging me in things on Facebook, because I'll go to do something, either check the wealth group or the health group, and then I'll get tagged in something and I'll click on it and it distracts me, and then I forget what I was even going on there to do. So yeah, definitely trying to not pay attention to the notification so much, but just get on and do what I need to do, and then check back a couple of hours later when I've got
100%. Yeah, what I do is I always look at who tagged me. If it's a team member, I will always read it. If it's somebody that I know really well, like in my activist movement, I will read it, but people tag me all sorts of stuff. So I will look quickly, takes me 10 seconds, and I disengage. If it's not something I want to, I just, I don't have guilt about it. I just let it go.
Okay.
Great. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. And Alex wrote in, because she's nursing Jagan, but, and then Lauren wrote, sorry, I have no idea why my microphone isn't working. She's going to use headphones. She's working on giving up non-business Facebook scrolling. Great choice, Lauren. I know we can all relate to that. And working on scheduling set business hours. And then when the kids get out of school in a couple weeks, she'll be more in alignment with that. So thank you so much for sharing that, Lauren. And I'm sorry we couldn't hear you. So guys, that's it. I know we went way over today, so I want to be respectful of everyone's time. If you have additional questions, post in the group or the leaders chat. We will see you in 2 weeks. Let's really focus in on our habits, our daily methods of operation. Let's keep each other accountable. So when you have a great day, post it in the group. If you have a challenging day, post it in the group, and just, so we can all build each other up, okay? All right, guys, have a great day. Love you guys. Bye.